must be done.
Hello everyone, this is Gavin, and welcome back to my Let's Play of the Baldur's Gate Trilogy. So we're finally in the Underdark, and some of you probably knows what that means. I'm going to end up power leveling this episode. I'm pretty sure we level up at least twice. And we also get some very important spells. We get Time Stop, Horde Wilting, Improved Haste right here. That's huge. And I keep looking for Mordenkainen's sword, but I still can't find it. Now, I said last episode I would talk about the cloak I picked up from the Sahuagin city, and I never did. I was busy talking about the dual class, multi-class stuff. But this cloak gives you complete immunity to magic damage. So anything like fireball, magic missile, things that deal damage, I mean, you're just immune to. So combine that with my berserk ability, and I'm just straight immune to magic while I'm berserking. It's strong even for other characters, but it's ultra strong for me and for any solo run. I'd imagine you can also couple it with the cleric spell Chaotic Commands for the same effect or a similar effect that I have now.
It's probably best left to me.
So here's something interesting. I didn't know that they fought one another, all these elementals. And there is a specific order that you should do these portals. Not necessarily the portals themselves, but you should kill all of the spawning elementals before you activate the mage that's been imprisoned. Just because you lose out on a ton of experience. I think it spawns probably it spawns like 10 of these elementals out of each portal, and they're worth 6,000 apiece, and the air elementals are worth 7, I believe. So, I mean, it's 60, 70,000 experience out of each one of these portals. That's humongous. So I summoned these skeleton warriors thinking that they would help me DPS down all the elementals, but I was mistaken. Apparently their weapons can't hit these guys. But regardless, they're still helpful because they're tanking damage for me, which means I don't have to use my mirror images, my stone skins, that kind of thing. And my character does enough damage melee that it's not really a problem. It doesn't take terribly long. But this is one situation in which Mordenkainen's sword would come in handy, because I think Mordenkainen's sword hits as a +3 weapon, maybe even better. But they would be able to deal damage. I think they get at least 1 attack per round, probably 2. But the only downside to those versus these skeleton warriors is that they last a short time. I think 1 round per level, rather than 8 hours.
Give me some direction. Let's do this. Time is up. Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I counted 11 that popped out of that portal, including the one that went to go fight the fire elemental.
is up. Yeah. Time. I'm waiting. Yeah. Scream. Yeah.
Yeah, so you see, for 5 minutes of work, I took 0 damage and I leveled up. Because if it is 11 out of each of those portals, then it's 66,000 per, which would be what, 132,000 for the two, and then 77,000 on top of that. So over 200,000 experience. I think at this point in the game, I would have been better served getting that level 6 spell and going up so I can get my level 6, 7, and 8 extra spells. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal. I'm going to get all of those things. I think the only high level abilities I'm not interested in getting are Energy Blades and Comet. Although I think I'll be high enough level that I'll get them regardless. So I saw him casting True Sight, so I just put on my Cloak of Non-Detection, and he can't see me still. And you can make your own obligatory John Cena reference. So even though they can't detect me with that True Sight, it's still dispelling my mirror image and blur. But I do so much damage with this improved haste. 6 attacks around.
Hold steady. Yeah. Hold still. Yeah.
If you're running in a party, it might be to your benefit to swap out your gear temporarily when you're in the Underdark to Drow gear, just because it's the best stuff in the game, especially that full plate mail. I think it's like -3 or -4, something crazy. And I know there's some of the chainmail that you can cast spells in, so it just significantly increases your party's survivability down here. Because this really can be one of the more difficult areas in the game. So I was a little bit worried about my character going crazy right here, but it turned out okay. My guy even did a little bit of damage, and he didn't run too far, so I didn't get aggroed by the Kuotoa or anything like that.
I'll see to it.
I've been toying around with my in my head about doing a character that's specific, like a fighter that's specifically a thrown weapons character, like either axes or daggers. And I've been thinking I have the Wizard Slayer mod that improves the Wizard Slayer or changes his kit. So he does a cumulative spell failure on the enemy. So that might be a cool option. But I've also been thinking about Kensai because Kensai gets that bonus to hit and to damage every 3 levels, and you get the Kai, so max damage for all your stuff for like 12 seconds or something, which would be very strong. That would be the highest damage per second ranged character in the game. And being a ranged Kensai, you would mitigate a lot of the danger of not wearing armor. And once you got boots of speed, particularly in Baldur's Gate 1, you wouldn't have to worry about anything. You could just stay out of aggro range. You could kite enemies around, particularly if you're rolling with a party. So this fight can be quite difficult if you're not prepared for it. The way you activate it is that you summon a monster on that altar, or you can move a monster over onto that altar, of course. But it summons like demon knights or something, and they're very strong. But one of them has that belt that I've been waiting for, the one that gives you 21 strength. I believe they also drop a pretty good two-handed sword and a good suit of armor. A suit of full plate mail. So my thick goes at -1, which is great. That means I'm going to be hitting half the time, even if an enemy has a -10 armor class. And that's very rare. I think the only time you ever come across enemies with armor class that high is in Throne of Ball, perhaps in Watcher's Keep. So be careful when you're doing this if you're not power gaming like a solo character. I don't have any problems with it just because my character is such a high level. But it can be fairly difficult, particularly the Elven Mage that pops out, and there's a Lich that pops out as well. And there's Jor the Bleeder. It's a very good weapon because I think that poison effect hits through stone skin. Full disclosure, I've never used a character except in Icewind Dale that uses bastard swords. I've never thought to do it, just because I kind of feel like they're outclassed by longswords, simply because there's a lot of longswords that have utility. I've never had much use for Delayed Blast Fireball, but that being said, level 7, aside from Mordecane and Sword, there's not very many great spells that you just want in your spell book all the time. There are utility spells like Warding Whip and Spell Sequencer. Sometimes you could consider Power Word Stun or Prismatic Spray in that category. So Delayed Blast Fireball might be a good choice for level 7, although it's really just a shittier Skull Trap.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever cast the spell even one time in all the years I've been playing this game. You'll see in a future episode I turn off that autopause for spellcast. I just don't really like it very much. It throws me off. I have a habit of pausing a lot anyway, so it kind of just messes with my mojo. So in this episode, I started storing scrolls. I'm not sure why I did that. Because the more I think about it, I'm not really going to want to sell those. I'm not going to want to use them because I have a full spell book full of spells already. There's no reason to keep them. Probably eventually I'll just use them, like, you know, take a few minutes and erase and rememorize. So I forgot that they nerfed Animate Dead. The casting time is 9 now rather than the 5 it used to be. So you used to be able to summon an entire group of 5 of those guys immediately. So I took a little damage for that oversight, but it ended up not being a problem.
I'll see to it.
And until I get Horrid Wilting, I don't think I'll cast a level 8 spell. There's really, I don't know, it's another pretty lackluster spell level with that notable exception. You also get Spell Trigger, which is a better version of Spell Sequencer, so that's worth noting. You also get Spell Strike, I believe, which is the best magic protection removal spell in the game, unless you count the generic ones that have save versus spell, like remove magic, or even dispel magic.
Ah, thank you for releasing me. I was sure my destiny was to end imprisoned here forever. I've never been more glad.
So for the remainder of the episode, nothing crazy happens. We do this quest. We take care of the Sverfneblin things. I think we sell some stuff at the merchant. All my tactics I've explained and you've seen ad nauseum. So I really don't have anything left to say commentary-wise for this episode. I'll try to get this episode up and the other two that I have pre-recorded already. So in the next couple episodes, we'll be finishing up everything in the Underdark before going to Usnatha, and then we'll go to Usnatha. But in any case, thank you for watching. Enjoy the remainder of the gameplay, and I will catch you in the next one.
Give me some. It's done.
You have returned. My work goes well, though there is only so much I can do.
I'm there.
Yes.
Travelers to our fair city. That would be rare enough, but you are surfacers by the look of you.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Give me some. I'm waiting. Yeah. If it must be
You have
done.
returned. My work goes well, though there is only so much I can do without.
Give me some direction.
Well done. Now then. Wish me luck. That was unpleasant.
I'm waiting.
It's
It's
allowed on the
probably
other side
best
of the
left to
law,
me.
which is appropriate, I suppose. Here is the second part.
Yeah. concern. Give me some direction. I'm waiting. I hope this is worth it.
Trip that we shall have all the page that's
Yeah? Give me some direction. I'll see to it. I'm waiting. What is it? Yeah?
I
hope this is
return.
worth it.
Ah! It's good to have the prime material under my feet. There is beauty on the other side, but it is not my own.
Give me some direction. No effect. No I'm waiting. I'll see to it.
Yes.
Give me some stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I'm waiting. Yeah, I'm there.
You are welcome back. We had worried for your safety as though one of our own were in danger.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
If it must be done, it's probably best left to me. Hey, not a concern.